The mind is a powerful force. It shapes our desires, our emotions, and our attachments. If a woman is constantly thinking about you, her actions will reveal it in ways she may not even realize. The Stoics mastered human psychology long before modern science confirmed what they knew. Our thoughts influence our behavior. A woman who is truly invested in you won't just say it, she will show it, often in subtle but undeniable ways. In this video, you'll discover the signs that a woman can't get you out of her head. Watch till the end, because missing even one of these could mean overlooking someone who deeply values you. Like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Now, let's get into it. Chapter 1. She does thoughtful things for you. A woman who constantly thinks about you won't just keep those thoughts to herself, she will act on them. Thoughtfulness is one of the clearest indicators of deep emotional investment. It's not just about saying she cares, it's about proving it through small but meaningful actions. She might check in on you when you're sick, remember your favorite coffee order and bring it to you unexpectedly, or send you a message out of the blue that says, "I saw this and thought of you." These gestures, though seemingly minor, reveal something powerful. You're not just another person in her life, you're someone who occupies space in her mind. Women, by nature, express their emotions through nurturing and care. When a woman truly values you, her thoughtfulness becomes instinctive. It's not something she forces or overthinks, it's simply how she operates when she's emotionally invested. If she makes an effort to bring joy into your life, whether through small surprises, remembering your preferences, or offering help when you need it, it's because you matter to her. The Stoics believed that genuine care is always demonstrated through action rather than empty words. When a woman consistently shows thoughtfulness, it's not by accident, it's a direct reflection of the value she places on you. You'll notice this in various ways. Maybe she texts you at just the right moment, sensing when you need support. Perhaps she recalls a stressful event in your life and follows up to ask how things turned out. If she remembers your job interview, an important family gathering, or even something as small as the book you mentioned wanting to read, it's not random. It's because she's been paying attention, because your life is important to her. A woman who listens to you deeply and remembers details about your interests and struggles is someone who cares beyond the surface level. She isn't just hearing your words, she's internalizing them because they matter to her. Thoughtfulness also extends to physical actions. If she offers to run an errand for you, cooks for you, or goes out of her way to make things easier for you, she's doing more than just being kind, she's investing in you. People don't make extra effort for those they don't care about. If she's the type to bring you something when you're feeling down, to notice when you need encouragement, or to be the first to offer help when you're struggling, it's because you've taken root in her thoughts. She isn't doing these things out of obligation or politeness, she's doing them because she genuinely wants to. The Stoics believed that virtue is best expressed through intentionality. In relationships, this means that people reveal their true feelings not through what they say, but through what they do. A woman who is always thinking about you will naturally let that mental presence manifest in her actions. She won't have to force herself to be thoughtful, it will simply happen because you are on her mind. A Stoic principle teaches that love, like virtue, must be shown rather than spoken. If a woman truly values you, she won't leave you guessing, she will make it known through the way she treats you. Contrast this with a woman who is indifferent. If she rarely initiates contact, never checks in, and doesn't go out of her way to do anything beyond direct conversations, then it's likely that you don't occupy a significant space in her thoughts. True attraction and emotional investment are always accompanied by action. Words alone can be deceptive, but consistent thoughtfulness cannot be faked. Someone who is emotionally invested in you will naturally want to improve your life in some way, whether through support, small gestures, or even just remembering details that most people would overlook. Another key sign of a woman's emotional investment is when she does things for you without expecting anything in return. She doesn't perform thoughtful gestures because she wants something, she does them because she genuinely cares. She isn't keeping score or waiting for you to reciprocate, she simply finds joy in making you happy. This is one of the strongest indicators that you are frequently on her mind. When a woman consistently puts in effort without a hidden agenda, it means that you are truly important to her. Pay attention to the patterns of her behavior. If she's always looking for ways to make your life easier, to support you, or to brighten your day, it's not just coincidence, it's a sign of deep emotional connection. A woman who values you will make sure that you feel that value through her actions, whether they are big or small. Even if she doesn't always express her emotions in words, her actions will tell you everything you need to know. Ultimately, true thoughtfulness is effortless for someone who cares. It doesn't feel like a chore, and it doesn't require a second thought. If she's consistently making an effort to show you that she's thinking about you, then you can be certain she's not just passing time with you. You have a place in her heart, and that place is reflected in everything she does. When a woman repeatedly demonstrates her care in both obvious and subtle ways, you can be sure that she is emotionally invested in you. Stoic wisdom reminds us that what truly matters is not spoken, it is demonstrated. And when a woman continuously goes out of her way to make your life better, her actions tell you everything you need to know. Chapter 2. She never forgets important details about you. A woman who is always thinking about you won't just listen when you talk, she'll remember. Not just the big things, like your job, your birthday, or your favorite sports team, but the small, seemingly insignificant details that most people would overlook. She'll recall the way you like your coffee, that obscure band you mentioned once, or the fact that you hate mushrooms on your pizza. She might bring up a story you told her months ago, referencing something even you barely remember sharing. These little details might not seem like much on the surface, but they hold immense psychological weight. The human brain prioritizes what it finds valuable, and memory is one of the strongest indicators of significance. If a woman remembers details about you long after a conversation has passed, it's because you've made an impression on her mind. She's storing information about you not out of obligation, but because she genuinely cares. This kind of attentiveness isn't just about remembering, it's about how she uses that knowledge. Maybe she surprises you with your favorite snack without asking, casually brings up a book you once said you wanted to read, or asks about something you mentioned in passing weeks ago. These actions go beyond simple politeness. They show she's thinking about you even when you're not around. The Stoics understood that attention follows value. We naturally focus on what matters to us, while we forget what is irrelevant. A woman who consistently recalls small things about your life is doing so because, to her, you are significant. She's unconsciously making you a part of her mental world, integrating your interests, preferences, and stories into her thoughts. This isn't just passive memory, it's an active sign of emotional investment. Pay attention to how often she brings up past conversations. If she references a goal you mentioned months ago, asks how a specific event in your life went, or checks in on something personal you shared, it's not a coincidence. She's not just making small talk, she's showing you that your words stay with her. This is an incredibly strong signal of emotional connection. Even more revealing is when she remembers things you barely recall telling her. Maybe you offhandedly mentioned a childhood memory, a small pet peeve, or a dream you had once, and suddenly she brings it up in conversation as if it were yesterday. This means she's not just listening, she's absorbing. And people only do that when they care. Another way this manifests is through thoughtful gestures. If she buys you a gift that perfectly matches your interests, suggests a place to eat that she knows you love, or sends you an article about a topic you once mentioned, she's proving that she pays attention in a way most people don't. This isn't just about having a good memory, it's about genuine affection. The Stoics believed that what we repeatedly focus on becomes a part of our identity. If a woman is remembering and recalling details about you consistently, it means you become part of her mental landscape. You're not just another person in her life, you're someone she values enough to think about often. It's easy to dismiss these things as simple kindness or good manners, but don't underestimate their significance. In a world where most people struggle to remember basic details about their acquaintances, a woman who keeps track of the smallest aspects of your life is showing something deeper. She's investing in you emotionally, making sure that your presence in her life isn't fleeting. So if you notice that she always seems to remember what you like, what you said, and what's important to you, take it as a major sign. She's not just being polite, she's proving, in the most subtle but powerful way, that you're constantly on her mind. Chapter 3. She tells her friends about you. If a woman is constantly thinking about you, she won't keep it to herself. One of the strongest signs that you're on her mind is when you start hearing about yourself from unexpected sources, her friends. If her friends know your name before you've even met them, that's a huge indicator that you're a regular topic of conversation. Women discuss what's important to them, and if you keep coming up in her discussions, it means she's thinking about you even when you're not around. You might notice this in subtle ways. She could casually drop hints, saying things like, "Oh, my friend already knows about you," or "I was just telling my best friend about what you said the other day." Sometimes, it's even more obvious. Her friends might smirk when they see you, tease her about you, or act as if they already know a lot about you before you've even had a proper conversation with them. These little details confirm that you're not just another acquaintance to her, you've been given a place in her inner world. Women don't talk about just anyone with their close friends. If she mentions you, analyzes your messages, or asks for advice about you, it means you matter to her in a meaningful way. She's not just thinking about you in passing, she's actively trying to make sense of her feelings, seeking validation from her friends, or just expressing her excitement about you. This is particularly revealing because most women are selective about who they introduce into their social circle, even just in conversation. The Stoics emphasized that true importance isn't about status, wealth, or power, it's about presence in someone's life. If she's integrating you into her social world, she sees you as someone who has a lasting impact on her emotions and thoughts. When a woman is truly interested, her excitement about you will spill over into her daily conversations. Her friends will become aware of you not because she's forcing the topic, but because she can't help but bring you up. Another powerful sign is how her friends treat you once they meet you. If they're warm, friendly, and already seem to know a lot about your personality, interests, or things you've done together, it's clear she's been talking about you in a positive light. Her friends might even ask questions like, "So, what are your intentions with her?" or "She talks about you all the time." These moments reveal just how much of an imprint you've left on her thoughts. Pay attention to how she reacts when her friends bring you up. If she blushes, gets defensive, or tries to play it off with a casual, "Oh, it's nothing," but can't hide her smile, that's a strong indicator of her feelings. A woman who frequently talks about you has likely been thinking about you far more than she's letting on. Even if she's more private, there are other ways her thoughts about you can surface through her friends. They might drop little hints, making comments like, "Oh, so you're the guy she's been talking about," or "She's been asking a lot about what you might think of certain things." These are indirect ways of confirming that you've taken up space in her mind and that her feelings for you are not just passing thoughts. The Stoics believe that what we give our attention to reveals our priorities. If a woman consistently talks about you to her friends, it's a sign that you are important to her, whether she has fully admitted it to herself or not. Thoughts become words, words become actions, and eventually, those actions reveal true feelings. So if you notice her friends treating you as if they already know you, if she's casually mentioning conversations she's had about you, or if you catch her smiling when someone teases her about you, take it as a strong sign she's been thinking about you far more than she might say outright. Chapter 4. She acts shy around you. Shyness is often misunderstood. When a woman seems nervous, fidgets, or struggles with eye contact around you, it's usually not because she's uncomfortable, it's because she's overthinking her actions. And why would she be overthinking? Because you matter to her. Because she's thinking about how she comes across, worrying about making the right impression, and feeling the pressure of your presence in a way she doesn't with others. When a woman who is usually confident suddenly becomes hesitant, awkward, or unusually quiet around you, it's not a sign of disinterest, it's the opposite. She might blush unexpectedly, giggle at things that aren't that funny, or take an extra second to respond to your questions. Her usual composure wavers because her mind is preoccupied with you. The way she acts around you is different because her emotions are engaged at a level beyond casual interaction. This nervous energy can manifest in different ways. Some women become extra talkative, filling silences with unnecessary words just to keep the conversation going. Others become reserved, second-guessing their words, fearing they might say something silly. You may notice her touching her hair, playing with her jewelry, or adjusting her clothes, subconscious actions that show she's self-conscious in your presence. Her body is betraying her inner thoughts, revealing just how much you've unsettled her normal state of mind. The Stoics believe that emotions often reveal themselves physically before we can consciously control them. Attraction is one of the strongest forces in human nature, and when a woman is truly drawn to you, her body and actions will often give her away. She might avoid direct eye contact, but at the same time, steal glances at you when she thinks you're not looking. She might laugh nervously or shift in her seat, unable to sit still because her excitement and nerves are battling within her. Think about it, when people are completely indifferent to someone, their behavior remains steady. They don't stumble over words, fidget, or get flustered. But when strong emotions are involved, whether excitement, nervousness, or attraction, maintaining control becomes difficult. A woman who always thinks about you will struggle to act normal in your presence because you disrupt her internal balance. Even the way she interacts with others can change when you're around. She might be outgoing and confident in a group, but as soon as you enter the room, you notice a shift. She becomes more reserved, her energy changes, and she starts behaving differently. This is a powerful sign that you've occupied space in her mind. Another key indicator is how she reacts to physical proximity. If she gets flustered when you stand close, if her breath catches when you touch her lightly on the arm, or if she suddenly seems overly aware of your presence, it's because she's hyperconscious of every little moment between you. She might try to hide it, but the signs will always slip through. The Stoics taught that we must pay attention to what is real rather than what is said. A woman may not directly confess her feelings, but her body language, nervous energy, and the way she acts differently around you tell the real story. When someone is always thinking about you, their emotions will surface in ways they can't completely control. So if you notice her fumbling for words, avoiding eye contact but sneaking glances, or laughing nervously at your jokes, take it as confirmation that you're not just a passing thought, you're on her mind far more than she wants to admit. Chapter 5. Her body language changes around you. A woman's words can be carefully chosen, but her body often tells the real story. When she thinks about you often, her body language will shift in ways she may not even realize. These changes aren't forced or calculated, they happen instinctively, revealing her inner emotions before she even speaks. Her body becomes a map of subtle signals, drawing attention to the depth of her feelings, whether or not she intends to show them. When you enter the room, does she subtly straighten her posture? Does she position herself closer to you even when there's plenty of space? These unconscious adjustments signal that she's aware of your presence and that you occupy space in her thoughts. The Stoics believe that human interaction is largely about perception, And when a woman is drawn to someone, her body naturally orients itself toward them, even if her mind tries to stay composed. Her posture, her stance, and even the way she angles her shoulders speak volumes, often louder than her words. Physical proximity is one of the clearest indicators of attraction. A woman who is always thinking about you won't stay at a distance. She'll naturally drift closer, whether in conversation or just in passing. She may lean in when you speak, angle her body toward yours, or stand just a little closer than necessary. This is her subconscious way of seeking connection, a silent acknowledgement that she feels drawn to you. Even when surrounded by others, her movements will subtly align to bring her closer to you, as if you're the gravitational center of her space. Her hands may also reveal more than her words. Fidgeting, playing with her hair, or lightly touching her neck are signs of heightened awareness. These aren't just random habits, they often emerge when someone is nervous or excited in the presence of someone they're interested in. If she adjusts her clothes, fixes her hair, or subtly checks her reflection when she's near you, it's because she's thinking about how she appears in your eyes. Her gestures may seem casual, but they're often a reflection of her desire to present herself in a way that captures your attention. Eye contact plays a crucial role in body language. A woman who frequently looks at you, especially with a certain softness or intensity, is showing you that you're on her mind. If she quickly glances away when you catch her looking, it could mean she's trying to hide her thoughts but can't help being drawn to you. On the other hand, if she maintains steady, prolonged eye contact, it's a deliberate signal of interest. She's letting you know, without words, that you hold her attention. The eyes, often called the windows to the soul, are perhaps the clearest indicator of someone's inner world. A glance can hold a universe of unspoken emotions. Another key indicator is how she mirrors you. People naturally mimic the gestures and speech patterns of those they feel connected to. If she starts to adopt your mannerisms, crossing her arms when you do, nodding when you nod, or matching your energy in conversation, it's not by accident. It's a subconscious reflection of emotional alignment, a sign that she's tuned into you even when she's not fully aware of it. This mirroring behavior creates a rhythm between you, a shared energy that fosters connection without the need for explicit words. Her reactions to your movements and presence are equally telling. If she lights up when you walk into a room, if her expression softens when she sees you, or if she naturally smiles more around you, she's not just being polite. Happiness is difficult to fake, and if she consistently shows warmth when you're near, it's because you have a presence in her thoughts long before you arrive. Her energy shifts when you're around, and her joy becomes a testament to how much you matter to her. The Stoics believed that human nature reveals itself in action, not just in words. A woman's body language is often the most honest expression of how she truly feels. When you notice these signs, you're seeing the physical manifestation of her thoughts. She doesn't just think about you, she feels your presence in a way that shapes her behavior. Her body, in its subtle and instinctive movements, becomes an open book that reveals what her heart might be too hesitant to say. If you recognize these patterns, don't ignore them. Body language doesn't lie, and when a woman's movements, proximity, and reactions consistently signal interest, it's because her mind is already occupied by you. By tuning into these nonverbal cues, you can better understand her feelings, allowing you to respond with authenticity and clarity. This unspoken connection has the power to deepen your bond and reveal the truth that words alone may never fully capture. Chapter 6. She gives you the look of interest. There's a certain way a woman looks at a man when she's truly drawn to him. It's not just about eye contact, it's about the intensity, the warmth, and the subconscious pull that makes her gaze linger a little longer than it should. If she frequently glances at you when she thinks you're not looking or holds your eyes just a second longer than usual, these are subtle but powerful indicators that you're on her mind. The way she looks at you becomes a silent but unmistakable signal of the emotion she may be too hesitant to express aloud. Eye contact is one of the most primal forms of human connection. The way she looks at you can reveal far more than words ever could. If she locks eyes with you across a room and doesn't immediately look away, it's an invitation, a silent message that you've captured her attention. A woman who is always thinking about you won't be able to resist looking at you. It's as if she's drawn to you without even realizing it. Even when she's in a group, her gaze may keep drifting in your direction, as if checking to see if you're still there. She may not be fully aware of how often her eyes find you, but those moments reflect the quiet power of her attraction. Pay attention to the subtle differences in her eye contact. Does she look at you with a certain softness, as if she's admiring you? Does she give you quick, stolen glances, trying to be discreet but failing because her thoughts betray her actions? Does she smile slightly when your eyes meet, or does she hold her gaze just a little too long before looking away? These are all signs that you occupy her mind more than she's willing to admit. The fleeting moments of connection through her gaze are like windows into her thoughts, revealing emotions she might otherwise keep guarded. The Stoics believed that the most profound truths are often the simplest ones, and this applies to attraction as well. A woman who thinks about you will show it in the way she looks at you. She won't need to say anything, her eyes will communicate everything. The warmth, the curiosity, the admiration, all of these emotions are reflected in that fleeting moment of eye contact. Even if she tries to mask her feelings with casual behavior, her gaze will give her away. It's in those moments of unguarded eye contact that the truth about her feelings becomes most apparent. But it's not just about how often she looks at you, it's also about how she reacts when you catch her. If she quickly looks away, blushes, or fidgets nervously, it's a sign that she's aware of her own attraction but isn't ready to be completely open about it yet. Her nervous reaction may stem from the vulnerability of being caught staring, as if she's momentarily exposed. On the other hand, if she maintains eye contact with confidence, with a slight smirk or a look of knowingness, she's comfortable with her interest and may even want you to notice. Her willingness to hold your gaze suggests an inner certainty about her feelings, even if she hasn't voiced them yet. Beyond that, a woman who is constantly thinking about you may find other excuses to gaze at you. She might look at your lips when you talk, subtly study your face as if trying to memorize your features, or glance at you when she's laughing or reacting to something. Even when she's distracted, her subconscious pulls her back to you. These moments reveal how deeply you've captured her attention. Her mind naturally drifts to you, and her eyes follow suit, creating a pattern of behavior that's impossible to ignore. There's also the element of exclusivity. Observe if she looks at you differently compared to how she looks at others. If she gives you a special kind of gaze, one that seems to hold more depth or meaning, then you know you're on her mind. Women don't look at just anyone this way. Her unique way of looking at you might include a softness, a spark, or an intensity that she doesn't share with others. That exclusivity in her gaze is a clear sign that you occupy a unique space in her thoughts. In Stoic philosophy, wisdom comes from observation and understanding human nature without illusion. If you want to know whether a woman is thinking about you, don't get lost in overanalyzing words or actions, simply pay attention to how she looks at you. The truth is always in the eyes. Her gaze reflects her emotions, her thoughts, and her interest in ways that words often cannot. By observing these subtle but powerful cues, you can gain a deeper understanding of her feelings, free from the noise of overthinking. When a woman gives you the look of interest, she's revealing more than she might ever say aloud. Her eyes become a mirror to her thoughts, offering you a glimpse into her true feelings. This unspoken connection is where the most authentic bonds begin, built on the honesty of what's felt but not yet said. Chapter 7. She gives you the look of interest. A woman's eyes reveal what her words may try to hide. If she's constantly thinking about you, it will show in the way she looks at you, whether it's a lingering gaze, frequent glances in your direction, or a certain warmth in her eyes whenever you interact. The Stoics understood that attraction and emotions are often expressed through subtle, unspoken gestures, and eye contact is one of the most powerful among them. The eyes betray emotions long before words ever do. If a woman repeatedly gives you a look that lingers just a second longer than necessary, it's not random, it's a sign that you occupy her thoughts more than she lets on. When a woman looks at you with genuine curiosity and interest, she's mentally engaged even when she's not speaking. You might catch her watching you from across the room, quickly looking away when you notice. This isn't coincidence, it's a subconscious reaction to the thoughts running through her mind. She's drawn to you, even if she hasn't put it into words. On the other hand, if she maintains steady, deep eye contact, she's intentionally signaling that you have her full attention and that she wants you to notice. A woman who isn't interested will avoid prolonged eye contact or glance around absent-mindedly. But when she's thinking about you, her gaze becomes deliberate, her eyes will find you in a crowded room, and even if she looks away, she'll find an excuse to look again. Her gaze isn't just about looking at you, it's about how she looks at you. There's a difference between casual, polite eye contact and the kind that holds a deeper meaning. If her eyes soften, if there's a hint of admiration or warmth when she looks at you, she's emotionally engaged. It's the kind of look that suggests she's not just present in the moment, but also thinking about you when you're not around. The Stoics believed that truth is often found in simplicity, and in this case, the truth of her feelings is in her gaze. The way she looks at you will tell you everything you need to know, even when she's silent. Pay attention to the way her eyes react in different situations. If she lights up when she sees you, if her pupils dilate when you're speaking, or if she unconsciously leans in while maintaining eye contact, she's captivated by your presence. She may also glance at your lips when you talk, a subtle but telling sign of romantic attraction. These small cues reveal where her mind is, even if she's not openly expressing it. A woman who frequently steals glances at your mouth is subconsciously considering what it would be like to kiss you. It's a primal, instinctive reaction that happens when attraction is strong. Another key indicator is how often she finds excuses to look at you. She might glance at you when she thinks you're not looking, steal quick looks in a group setting, or even use reflective surfaces like mirrors or windows to sneak a glance. If she's making eye contact from across her room and holding it longer than usual, she's mentally locked onto you, even in a crowded space. Some women try to play it cool, but the eyes always reveal what the heart tries to conceal. If she's drawn to you, her gaze will seek you out no matter where you are. The Stoics taught that emotions should be observed rather than blindly followed, and the same applies here. A woman who consistently gives you a look of interest isn't just reacting in the moment, she's reflecting her deeper thoughts. When someone is constantly on your mind, your body naturally seeks them out, and the eyes are the first to betray those hidden desires. Eye contact isn't just about sight, it's about connection. The way she looks at you is an unconscious confession of the emotion she might not be ready to admit out loud. There's also a difference between reserved admiration and bold attraction. Some women, especially if they're shy, will struggle to hold eye contact for too long because they feel vulnerable. They'll look at you, then quickly glance away, only to look again moments later. Others will be more direct, locking eyes with you in a way that makes you feel like she's looking right through you. If a woman's gaze lingers on you as if she's analyzing every detail, it's a sign she's deeply interested. If you recognize this look, understand its significance. Eye contact is one of the most ancient and natural ways humans connect, and when a woman's gaze is filled with interest, admiration, or warmth, it's a reflection of her thoughts about you. It's not just a look, it's an unspoken confession that you've taken up space in her mind, even when she's trying to hide it. The eyes never lie, and if she's looking at you in a way that feels different from how she looks at others, you can be sure she's thinking about you far more than she's letting on. When a woman is constantly thinking about you, it won't stay hidden. Her actions, words, and body language will all betray her thoughts. She'll find reasons to engage with you, remember the smallest details, talk about you to others, and react to you differently than she does with anyone else. Stoicism teaches us to observe and understand human nature without bias. If you see multiple signs from this list, it's not random, it's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. Watch for these behaviors, and if you notice them, don't hesitate to engage. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've ever experienced these signs firsthand. Now go out there and start observing.